Hi guys, and welcome back to Sundays with Coach Shar. I am Shar, the business doula. Today we are going to be discussing entrepreneurship versus a 9-to-5. And let's just say, guys, this is one of my favorite topics to really talk about, as I am Shar, the business doula. So my primary goal is to help people to establish successful business structures so that they can operate in the capacity of entrepreneurship. But I want to be realistic with you when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I know right now that's kind of like a big thing, especially this time of year, guys. I call it tax time shame, where people are going to have their tax refund and they're going to have a little bit extra money. And you see all these posts on social media like, yeah, go start an LLC and go do this and put this in this name and set this up. And while that's great advice, that's not really setting you up for what's to come, okay? So let's talk about it. One of the things that I think that we kind of skip over when we discuss entrepreneurship is the fact that there are some very good values that we learn by working a 9-to-5 or working in the corporate environment, right? One of the main things that we learn is structure, okay? We learn how things move about, whether that be good or bad. And we can use that information to make sure that when we take it back to our businesses, we are setting ourselves up for success, right? Because we see how this worked at this company, that didn't really work at this other company. So it is some benefits in having that bit of experience behind you to know how things run and operate, right? But I don't want to really concentrate on that aspect of it. I just don't want you guys to hear all these things about entrepreneurship, especially in this season, and think like, I need to go and start a business, because that just may not be your ministry. You just may not be a person who wants to have a business, So my first thing is, don't believe the hype. Entrepreneurship is work, okay? Not only is it work, but it's work around the clock, okay? Because you don't have office hours for yourself when you're trying to build up your brand or build up your business. So you don't necessarily set those hours for yourself, especially in the starting stages of a business, okay? So that's number one. Number two, you hear these stories about people who had like $500 and boom, they turned around 5 years later and they got 5 million. Those are great stories and those are great encouragement and motivation, but that's not always going to be your case or your story, okay? So that's just a hard fact. We trust in the Lord with all our might. We know that He is able to provide for us, but that may not be how your story goes. So how can I ensure that I'm not out here just bad while trying to start my business? Be honest with yourself, okay? It's me and you talking, that you barely make it to your job on time, right? So if you haven't practiced the skill of being timely and on time to your job that pays you, how do you think that's going to translate into you now being on time for what you need to do for yourself? So although in your brain you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show up for me, everything is kind of habit based. So if you have a habit of being late, you're going to be late. If you have a habit of, saying not being good with time management and not being able to structure your breaks, for example, you get a 15-minute break at work and you always late from your 15-minute break, it's going to be really hard for you to be able to set time limits for yourself when it comes to your business. Okay, so we're not going to just skip over the fact that having a job helps to kind of set the foundational structure of the type of person that you are and the type of person that you will be working in your business. Because you're not, even though we say, oh, well, if it's for me, it'll be different. It's just these companies, they don't care, this, that, and the third. It's not so much about whether, they care and versus you showing up for yourself. If anything is worth doing, it's worth doing well, right? So if you don't have the mindset that, hey, even though this is a 9 to 5 and I don't really want to be here and this is not really what I want from my life, if you don't still have that desire and that push and that passion to say, okay, I'm here, I'm going to make the best of it, I'm going to do the best that I can while here, make the most of this opportunity, learn as much as I can, and take this with me. If you don't have that mindset, it's going to be very difficult to transition to a world of entrepreneurship where you don't have a support behind you, okay? You don't have a company structure behind you. You don't have somebody who's already laid out everything for you behind you. Everything that you have as an entrepreneur is just what you got, okay? And no one is obligated to put you on. No one is obligated to give you the game, especially not for free. Especially not for free, guys. So you have to understand that you're going to have to bridge the gap in a lot of the information that you know. So again, don't discredit the person that's working a 9 to 5 and has a business on the side, or the person that works a 9 to 5 until they're able to fund their business, because they're getting some valuable information. They're able to put capital aside. So, hey, just in case this is not going as, best as I would like. What's not transferable is the automatic paycheck, okay? That just because you show up, that you're going to get paid, okay? And that's the thing about entrepreneurship. You can have a day where you make $3,000 and then the next day you make zero. Or you can have a month where you do $100,000 in a month and then the next month you make $10,000. So being able to still show up with the tenacity and the drive to do what it is that you need to do is extremely imperative. And those are something that's like built throughout you gaining experience, okay? You're not going to just wake up and have that because you decide that you want to be an entrepreneur. This is something that's trained upon. This is a part of the training process and kind of getting yourself ready, like building up your muscle. Okay, so again, guys, so don't believe the hype. Okay, it's work. It is work. 2, no one is obligated to help you. Okay, so be prepared to pay for resources. Be prepared to educate yourself. Be prepared to go to seminars. Be prepared to listen to podcasts. Be prepared to listen to YouTubes. Be prepared. Okay, 3, capital. Know your budget. Okay. Know your budget, know your living expenses, and figure out what it is that you're willing to sacrifice, okay? Because maybe going into full-time entrepreneurship right away, that just doesn't work with the budget and the bills that you have. And that's the reality of it. So we have to be able to sustain and support ourselves, okay? Number 4, don't compare yourself, okay? And don't knock the next person who is trying, okay? So if you do see somebody who is an entrepreneur out here and they're struggling and they having a hard time, that's not your invitation to say, see girl, no, that's why I have a job. That's not your place. No, that's not your place. But what is your place is to, yeah, I understand that it can be hard. It can be, a task to be an entrepreneur, but you got this, okay? If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Okay, that's probably the best way to go with that. But then on the other side, if someone is deciding to stay in the corporate world, that's not your place to say, no, I need to work for myself. I don't want nobody to tell me what to do. That's not your place to say that either. Again, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. All criticism is not constructive, okay? And so know that just because something is really like a big topic, or because everybody is doing it, or maybe somebody is doing it and they make it look easy, that doesn't mean that it's easy. There is a lot of work that goes into the background that I feel a lot of people don't talk about, okay, because they want to sell you something, right? And my job as the business doula is to not just sell you something, is to prepare you for something. So I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like it's going to be easy peasy, because it's not. It's going to require work. You're going to have to look at yourself. You're going to have to know who you are. You're going to have to be real with yourself. But is it achievable? Yes, it is. With discipline and with tenacity and showing up, you definitely can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, okay? So guys, that concludes Sundays with Coach Shar. Again, I'm Shar the Business Doula. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Shar_the Business Doula. I look forward to connecting with you guys week by week. Please feel free to like and subscribe to make sure that you get these notifications when I do post these different videos. If you like, comment. I love to interact with you guys. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to speaking with you guys next week. Take care.